I have to start off with a joyful moment, a moment where I won't. It's not full. I told you so, but it's damn close. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to someone that it's just so. All right, here we go. So this is audio. Oops, I got to slide this down there to modify my whole screens and everything's crazy. This is from the special master review of the Mar-a-Lago documents trial that was going on today / yesterday too, and it's on C-SPAN today. On the left, you have Chief Judge Pryor. If only it was Richard. Now this boy come down through here. Anyways, and then on the right is a guy named James Trusty. Good old Jim Trusty. Come on down to Jim Trusty Ford. James Trusty is Trump's lawyer. Literally, the dude picks his female lawyers by through a hotness scale, using I don't know, the finger scale from the last Boy Scout, and he picks his male ones based on their names. They have to sound like an Italian hitman, or they got to sound like somebody he's seen on a billboard chasing, we'll chase any ambulance we see, that kind of thing. And the fact that he likes this guy, you can't lose with send in a guy named James Trusty. He can't possibly, what could possibly go wrong? Now, this is one of the few situations where I'm actually going to turn on, is it available? Oh, it's not available. Okay, well then never mind, that one time. This is, they're talking in this clip. Hold on. James Trusty is trying to argue. This is so good. This is, well, I don't, all right. I'm not going to preempt everything. I want you to see the root, the seedling, the acorn from which the mighty oak of dipshittery grows from this idiot's argument about why they should honor the stay of the stay thing. I forget where, it's so many double negatives, it's hard to tell which one turns it off and which one turns it on. It's like we're in this is, legally speaking, this is red wire, blue wire category. And listen to this argument. This is about whether or not, Trump should get his shit back, which isn't his shit. And that they should honor what Judge Cannon wrote. All right, I can't give it away here.
We're in a position where we're in a process that this judge has created. It is not prejudging that relief will be available in the grand scheme of things under Rule 41G or under the Fourth Amendment.
Okay, so she wrote this ruling not under the presumption that there would be relief available under the actual law. She wrote this at a moment in time.
It is an initial moment of use of equitable powers to allow the parties to.
Seems to me the entire premise of the exercise.
I think that's the judge talking right
of
now.
This extraordinary kind of jurisdiction would be that the seizure itself is unlawful. And if you can't establish that, then what are we doing here?
Okay, that's just gorgeous. So the judge is saying, look, you're trying to get the search warrant thrown out. And your premise is that it's unlawful. You got to make a case that it isn't using actual evidence, or fuck off. And listen to Trusty's response. This is so fucking good. This is so good.
We are in the process of establishing that. That's exactly what this judge has contemplated, is not immediate protective pleadings where the attorneys file things and say, we think there's a Fourth Amendment violation.
So you're saying that the end object here is to establish that it was an unlawful seizure?
From our perspective, and we have good reason to think that there's now evidence of unlawful seizure by way of this being a general warrant.
By the way, it wasn't a general warrant. They didn't go down there and go, hunt and peck, find a crime. It was not a general warrant. Now, if you think it's a general warrant, you walk in with the warrant and you go, whap, Your Honor, see this warrant? This was a general warrant. They were fishing through my client's life trying to find a crime. And then they Of course, if they roof through everybody's life enough, you know, then the Gestapo can come knock down my goddamn door and your door, God forbid, Your Honor, and find something that they could use against you and gussy it up. Hell, they could walk in on a general warrant, chuck some heroin in the corner, and off you go to the hooskow. So that's how you do it, though. You go walk in with the actual warrant. Now, why isn't he walking in with the actual warrant and saying that case? This is the first one being this is a general warrant, completely just a fishing expedition by the police. You can get that thrown out. That's fairly sound law. If you can make that case, then you got a good chance of fruit of the poison tree and all kinds of shit. It's really hard to if there's like any sentences in the warrant other than this is a warrant.
Way of this being something that violates the Presidential Record Act, possibly having.
But you didn't establish that it was a general warrant.
But Your Honor, the point is.
Wait, it gets so much better. But you didn't establish that it was a general warrant because that's a day one, 25-second thing. I mean, that's Jeff Goldblum in deep cover. Your Honor, this is from the chemist. What the chemical that my client was found with was not indeed cocaine. It was Namitol, the baby laxative. And therefore, I've spoken to counsel, and we agree that the charges should be dropped immediately. Like that's how fast a general warrant dismissal is. Pretty close.
How could we establish these things without even having access to the documents at first? We're talking about a moment in time where Judge Cannon acted with limited discretion, with a limited use of obviously a limited power, to establish a process where we could fully explore it instead of filing unbased motions claiming constitutional violations.
I've not understood that to be the purpose, even the purpose.
Yeah, the other judge. By the way, there are 3 judges, 2 of which are Trump appointees on this board that they're in front of. 2 of them are Trump appointees. And both of them have ruled against Trump in the past. By the way, this isn't going fucking anywhere. Trusty is just sucking air. He's being paid to do a job. Everybody deserves their day in court. Fine. He's got shit to work with and a dumbass client. What can you... I mean, he's really just throwing noodles at the wall to see what sticks. Just fucking try. Maybe one of these arguments is al dente. But there is no there. That's just fucking stupid. Because... you walk in with 2 arguments. You go, Your Honor, this was a general warrant and they were fishing, and therefore you could see that there was no particular thing they were looking for. They were just looking through there was no immediate reason to believe they had that there was a crime going on, that the judge hurried a warrant through and said, we need a general warrant because this person's, suspected in a series of other things and he's driving across country with a severed head in a duffel bag. That's not the same kind of situation. Or that they, I guess... I don't know what his other argument is.
So you all have articulated, you've asked for a special master to review the documents for privilege. That doesn't sound like an attempt to demonstrate that the seizure was unlawful.
Well, it is.
That's the other part. Oh, yeah, okay. So you can't argue that it's an unlawful search if you're saying it's an unlawful search and we'd like some things back, but you can keep other things. I'm sorry. The judges are like, you can just smell them going, we're missing lunch for this? What the shit?
It is a combination, Your Honor. And we do not know as we sit here today what presentation was made by the affiant to obtain a warrant. There's still a whole universe of potential Franks-type challenges to the obtaining of this warrant from the magistrate. So we start with, yes,
okay, so not a general warrant. The idea that the warrant, so the unlawful nature of the warrant itself, once it was signed off on by a judge, the idea would be that the FBI or whoever, the NARA, everybody, lied to the judge to get them to sign off on this warrant. And so while it was a legal search warrant, it was based on false premises, is what they want to go with. The problem is, the minute you look at what they've already released that they said, because this came after the fact, what they want to do is freeze it in time before the the affidavit was released. So they want these 3 judges to rule as if further details about the judge's ruling never came out. You get that? This is fucking amazing.
Exercise. There were 2,900 documents that were.
Yeah, that's it, by the way. So, for the record, that's just, I just had to jump into a piece of that because that was on Raw Story. They brought that up, and it was just fucking so sweet. It was so. It's just, you're saying it's an illegal warrant? No, Your Honor, we are not arguing that. Are you arguing that it was a legal warrant, but it was overly broad? No, not that either. What are you arguing? We're arguing that we didn't know what we know now, and we'd like to go back to a time when we knew less to pretend that we don't know more so that you can rule on the idea that we know less. It's called TARDIS v. Doctor. 1862, I believe, and 97, and 81, and 1920, and right. It's McFly v. Brown, 1954, 55. Yeah, Your Honor, can I be excused for the rest of my life? Yeah, holy hell. And again, that is the quality of not only Trump's legal representation, and again, you can't polish a turd, so I don't know even how to judge these idiots because I don't know that they've got anything to work. They might be the greatest legal minds, and they're just fucked into a corner by the fact that they have a shit client who won't keep his mouth shut and lies every time he turns around and throws out any of the elements of privilege. And it was privileged. Okay, well then you declassified automatically anything that was in your hands, and you don't have privilege after you leave the fucking office. That's up to the current president. So none of it is yours. Wait, no, back up. Back up to when I was winning. Can we back up to when, like I was right, I think, for like 10 seconds, and then you kept talking? And it's all, like, that shit is all day, every day, in every Trump court session, even when he has a judge that just loves him, it still sounds like that. It's embarrassing. You know what's most embarrassing about it, I think? The biggest thing of all is that for years in New York, in the real estate and legal and civil things that he had between tenants and building owners and developers and contractors and fuckers he stiffed everywhere, and like contractors he didn't pay, and shitty buildings that he was like basically became like a high rent slumlord, right? That all during those times, this is the quality of judges in those courts must be pathetic because the argument never got better. They just didn't want to deal with it. They just punted all this shit because they're like, he's got a lot of money. He'll gack up our time here. Anyway, so that's from the Trump legal files. I hope you enjoyed.